Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Friends, this might be the end of Democrats' new favorite talking point. All we ever hear is, "My democracy this, my democracy that. Our democracy is under attack. We must save American democracy from the evil orange man." Well, people are just not buying it, because it's all predicated on one big, massive hoax, a bunch of lies. They've created this incredibly feeble structure built on all kinds of bogus, and all that was needed was a little bit of a gust of wind, and the whole thing comes tumbling down. Well, it seems as though that gust of wind might have actually been what Democrats and Liz Cheney thought was their secret weapon, Mrs. Cassidy Hutchinson. Everything related to the January 6th committee was going to hell in a handbasket. The whole thing was crumbling. Major news outlets were cutting away from the primetime major bombshell January 6th hearing to play golf highlights at one point. It was nothing but a massive disaster, and so Liz Cheney whipped out her epic, last-minute emergency secret weapon, which was Miss Cassidy Hutchinson. And well, it might have been the final nail in the coffin, as this bombshell testimony turned out to be a bunch of bogus, proving exactly what most people, at least most people paying attention, knew since the start. The entire sham January 6th hearing has always been bogus. Well, folks, now just a few months away from the midterm elections, it seems as though even the left-wing media is giving up on this January 6th garbage. It seems like they're giving up entirely on this extremism, democracy talking point, as they realize it's just not working anymore. Who would have thought that the American electorate cares more about policies and actual results than phony political hit jobs and smear campaigns? What a surprise! Let's get into this, folks. I gotta show you this piece from the Conservative Brief. Let's continue to celebrate in the demise of Nancy Pelosi and her evil turncoat henchman, Liz Cheney. Got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright, folks, take a look at this piece right over here. Of course, it's from the Conservative Brief, so you know it's good. Media admit defeat on Hutchinson's testimony. Voters think the committee is, quote, biased. Wow, no way! Wyoming GOP Representative Liz Cheney, who serves as the vice chair of the Democrat-led January 6th committee, and her star witness, Cassidy Hutchinson, are facing serious questions following testimony. Hutchinson, a former aide to ex-White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, testified before the committee during a hearing, and many of her allegations against former President Donald Trump have been refuted as being outright lies. And it's actually crazy to me. I mean, just read that. A former aide to ex-White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. We're talking about this bombshell testimony, not from Mike Pence or not from Donald Trump's maybe direct legal counsel or someone who was working right next to him, from a random lowly White House staff member, an aide to the Chief of Staff of the White House. I mean, it may as well be an intern, not to be rude or anything, but we're talking about a literal nobody, and it seems like every single time these massive bombshell testimonies and leaks come from these random lowly staffers who aren't in the room when anything important is said or done. But excuse the tangent, let's just continue on. Hutchinson is now reportedly in hiding with her family, the New York Times reported. The report alleged Hutchinson is broke, saying she's unemployed and sequestered with family in a security detail. Good. That's probably the consequence that should be faced when you lie under oath and when you push destructive, divisive, phony information in front of millions of people. Now a new piece from The Telegraph is questioning, is time running out for Democrats? Hilariously enough, the piece admits what many already know. The January 6th committee is biased. Hutchinson's testimony didn't have much of an impact at all, and Americans are tuning out the hearings. In the piece, John and Andy Shafley write, Joe Biden's approval has continued to fall despite the Democrats' efforts to prop him up. The Democrats' effort to prop him up, as there seems to be a massive concerted effort and campaign or cry to get the guy to resign and ship him to a nursing home. But Biden's approval rating is down to only 33%, which is far too low for Democrats to retain control of Congress or the White House. Early voting for the midterm elections begins in less than 3 months, with the vacation month of August in between. Time has nearly run out for Democrats to save their sinking ship. Democrats had been counting on televised congressional hearings about January 6th to be the game changer that they need to retain power. Just think about how ridiculous that is. But their strategy hasn't worked. The Democrat strategy, what they were viewing as a game changer to sway the elections, wasn't we're going to make the economy strong, we're going to make your life better, we're going to make your streets safer, we're going to tackle issues in your lives and in the American system. Their strategy for a game changer ahead of the elections was a bogus hearing, a witch hunt, a show trial where they presented falsified evidence and bogus testimony that turned out to be a complete lie. And they're wondering why they're suffering right now. According to a new Harvard-Harris poll, 53% consider the hearings to be biased, 63% feel Congress should be working on more important matters, and 67% say the hearings are dividing our country. Once again, the data proves, polling proves, the majority of American citizens are much smarter than the dumbasses currently roaming the halls of Washington. You know, it's like I said in the Adam Schiff video that I recorded, I believe, yesterday. I was questioning, who is actually watching this stuff and being convinced? It baffles the mind. And I specifically highlighted the Vote Blue No Matter Who MSNBC watcher, the typical blue and on Biden voter who's gonna fall for the Adam Schiff grift no matter what. They will literally believe anything that fits their worldview, anything that further enables their Trump derangement syndrome. They will continue to blindly believe and blindly follow. They won't even look past the surface. But as we know with these very, very partisan, out of their mind Twitter leftists, they're a fraction of the population. They're an extreme minority. Most Americans are right in the middle. It's kind of like a bell curve. There's extreme right, there's extreme left. Both sides exist. There's extreme partisanship on both sides. But the majority of people are in the middle and can be convinced by good ideas, good arguments, by the facts, and most of those honest people within the middle of the bell curve, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, are watching what Cassidy Hutchinson said about Donald Trump having 9-foot arms, basically turning into half Johnny Rambo, half Plastic Man, from the back of the vehicle, assaulting a Secret Service agent, grabbing him by his neck while simultaneously grabbing the wheel and trying to turn the presidential limo around. Most people are watching this ridiculous story and saying, what on earth is she saying? It makes absolutely no sense. And most people probably had the exact same reaction and the same question popped up to mind. Well, if that's true, where are the Secret Service agents and where are the people who told her this story to confirm it on the record? And then, of course, less than 24 hours later, just a couple hours later, nearly every single person that she claimed was involved or in the room came out and refuted the story. That's how most people interpret this stuff, regardless of where they land on the political spectrum. In other words, most people have critical thinking ability, research ability, and are a whole lot smarter and a whole lot honest than your average Democrat politician. While some people will fall for the Adam Schiff grift, the majority won't. And if you take that and compound it on top of the fact that Democrats in their current iteration as a party are a complete disaster when it comes to basic policies and results, and that President Joe Biden is the biggest clown to ever step in the Oval Office, probably in American history, all of it, I think that's probably safe to say. There have been bad presidents out there, but there haven't been bad presidents who also are simultaneously pooping their pants in front of the Pope. And yes, I know that that's an unconfirmed story, but still, it's pretty damn funny to mention. And it makes the point that this guy basically belongs in a nursing home. The conclusion that I'm coming to at the end here is January 6th sham, not helping the Democrats. Most people aren't buying it, even now the left-wing media is admitting it. Abortion issue, not helping the Democrats. Everything else, not helping the Democrats. And so the end conclusion is the same conclusion I've been drawing for the last month or so. Absolutely no shift, leftoids. Nancy Pelosi, in a few months, should have a different job title. Of course, that's implying there's no funny business from here till Election Day. And I think that's a pretty safe bet. Liz Cheney, Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, and the rest of you Democrats,
congratulations, you played yourself.
That's what I got for you guys on the video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like. Of course, like usual, I gotta get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.